Hello everybody, I'm happy to see you today. And a quick video, something sparked my mind today and I felt like I really want to share with you guys. You know, it is so important to be in a relationship with a good person, with a person that has a good heart and have really same values that you do. Because we never know, sometimes things don't work out, but if in the worst case scenario you will be dealing with a person who is civilized. If you have to separate, break up or divorce, it happens. Sometimes our lives just go a different way, but you won't be threatened and hurt by that person, because that person would not do that to you even if you have to separate. And this is what led to a thought in my head today, that you don't really know the person unless you divorce her or break up with her or him. And this is so interesting because a lot of things come out when we are on the verge of a separation, divorce, breakup, anything, all of those things. We learn so much about the other person. Unfortunately, often it's something not so positive, it's often something negative. Sometimes there are cases when it's surprisingly positive. I know cases when, for example, husbands were afraid that the wife will do something awful to them, to the court, just because they've heard stories, but their wife, had an opportunity to take everything she could, but instead she knew that, I'm talking about somebody I know, she knew that the person she is divorcing was going through tough times, he cannot help very much financially, and she made everything to make sure that there is no big issue, that there is no unnecessary trouble or problem with sharing, and I think that's why I always point out about being on the same page, having connection, have same values, really getting to know the person, because a woman that truly loves you, she really marries you because she wants to have that strong shoulder in her life. She wants to have a family, and she wants to have the person that she can share her life with. And finance and everything else, it's on the second or third place, because these things can be worked on. When you have a team, you can work on those things. One thing you cannot work on is to taking back time. And if you marrying the person that had never loved you, and you knew that you can never return that time and be happy and live it in a different way. But my main point again here, guys, is that be in a relationship with a good person, be with a person that will give you a hand. In fact, I talked with somebody over in Ukraine, somebody who had great marriage with a lady for for a long time, I think almost a decade. It was a great marriage, but some things had happened along the way, and just their life path actually went in a different ways. And they still help each other, support each other, and it can be very difficult. But I do not wish guys and girls and everybody to get a divorce or break up, but it's very true that you do not know a person before you divorce them. Of course, it's connected with court system, that sometimes people are trying to sue each other for money, or child support or child custody. But you really, if you had marriages before, and you probably, when you were going through that process, you probably were either how to say this, you probably realized what kind of person you were living with all these years. I know for most maybe it was negative, but for some I know it was positive, because you were able to agree on everything and maintain civilized relationships for your kids and just for your family, and I want to say also, guys, be a gentleman, be the guys that even if you break up with a woman, you still I'm talking about good women. I'm not talking about scammers, about women that somehow just not decent people. I'm talking about good normal relationship. Be that guy that still a man. I mean, a man with a big M, that if there is a hard time, if it's your ex-wife or your ex-girlfriend, you can still talk sometime and just be friendly, be supportive, point out some good things that she has, because we all sometimes need support. And being that guy that can stay civilized, stay manly, and being the strong man. I'm not talking about getting back together thing. I'm talking about not even necessarily staying friends, but when you finished on a good note with a person, you both were kind to each other, you both had some great times, and that that person might need you sometimes, so they go through the hard time, support them, send them a card, call them. It's normal. There is nothing wrong with being a human. And yeah, I think there is nothing wrong with being a human and showing some normal human qualities. Again, I do not mean any kind of drama relationship or going back and forth. I'm just talking about human relationships, because sometimes we really show our lower self when we know that the person really going through hard times. And even though we broke up or did something like that happened, it's not easy. But if you know that that person have very hard time in their family, or maybe they're sick, or maybe somebody died, or maybe anything else, be that man that woman can tell stories about when she gets old. I personally know stories like that. So I won't go into details on them, but people can stay kind and civilized to each other. And even if you broke up, if you are a gentleman, if you are strong and kind person, you were the person worth meeting. Thank you.